Hello again. Hi everyone. My name is Levent Gurdemir, UTA Planetarium Director, and we are here with you again, another live star stream, and in the studio, Jim Bader, Program Coordinator, with me. He has great space news with us, and as we mentioned last week, if you watched our video, we said we are in our new studio, so we keep improving our new studio and the video effects. And we had an amazing program last week. If you didn't watch,
Definitely.
find our video and watch, because we talked about potential alien spacecrafts after these UFO stories coming up on the news. We questioned whether a possible alien spaceship can travel at the speed of light or even greater than speed of light, and if that travel can be possible, we invited our great Dr. Ben Jones to our live stream.
Huge shout out to
And at
Dr.
first
Jones.
we assessed the possibility from a natural physics world that we are familiar with what we call Newton physics. So it sounded like impossible on the board.
Very much
And
so.
Dr. Ben Jones introduced a great theorem of general relativity of Einstein, and then we just looked into that from a different perspective, and we found amazing things. So the video is in the archive, so I just wanted to mention that before we start, because that's something that no one should miss.
Definitely. It was awesome. And just like you said, a huge shout out to Dr. Jones. That was fantastic. We're super grateful for him coming on. We will definitely get him again.
Absolutely. Okay, what we have on the news? So a lot happened, I think, in the past week, right?
We've had, well, we haven't actually been doing a show like this. We've been doing other things, and we've had other stuff on the agenda, so we haven't been covering news. In the last 2 weeks, we had a bunch of stuff that either I didn't have time to cover, or we were doing the specialized show, so I wasn't able to cover. So I'm pumped to get to show these with everyone. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. First thing that we have to talk about is my cool new panel here. I'm kidding, that's not it. Mars rovers stuff. We have so much. So as we know from previous episodes, we have the Mars helicopter Ingenuity that's been flying around and taking neat pictures, doing lots of science that we haven't seen done before, but also proving that it could work, which was pretty neat. So showing that, hey, we can in fact use a helicopter on another planet far away with the new technology, and pretty neat. So let's go ahead and just bring that first thing up. We have to talk about is the future of Martian rotorcraft. What do you think about this, Levent?
Oh, that's great. So the equipment still works. That's great, right? So what was the expected lifetime of these?
Not long.
Usually they are short to start with, but they perform well beyond the the expected lifetime. Expected
Y-
lifetime is usually like 6 months, but they survive like 16 years. That's great.
Yes. So this was really fantastic that it turns out to work so well. In fact, that NASA is now exploring. Yeah, this worked. We can do it in future missions. We are going to have future missions with future helicopters. Helicopters there with humans on the surface. Just one less thing the humans have to do. They don't have to climb a mountain. They could just send a helicopter up there to take photos.
Yeah, I
Is it
think we
worth?
should give a disclaimer that this is not part of the photograph, right?
Yeah, I do need to mention that we got this
There is
this
no.
photo, as all of our photos typically are credited to NASA. However, this one is credited to NASA. We got it from Space News. I couldn't find a real version of the photo, so don't judge the little. There should be no flying cursors on the surface of Mars. Anyway, but I just thought it's pretty neat to have this going out. NASA released like a 3-hour video talking about future helicopter missions because of how successful it was. On June 21st, Ingenuity flew another enormous flight. Lasted 80 seconds and it traveled 160 meters. That's just crazy. This blows my mind. So they're going to continue the flights. Oh, sorry, I covered your head there for a few
That's
more
fine.
months, and after that, they're just going to use it till it breaks or fails. So it's outlived its purpose, at least original purpose, and this is fantastic news. Yeah. Any more comments about that, Levin?
Well, no, that's just flying a helicopter on the surface of Mars. That's great, and that's a engineering challenge because the air
Feat, for
conditions
sure.
environment is way different on the surface of Mars.
Definitely.
Well, we would like to see more about this.
I'm sure we will.
Oh, that's a
Also,
great picture.
yeah, this is crazy. There's just so much in this picture that I wish we had time to discuss and talk about, bring in special guests. Um, but since Perseverance has landed on the surface, it's really just been testing everything. Do my wheels work? Can this camera turn on while this other camera turns on? And how much data can we transmit? They've actually already transmitted 100,000 photos back to Earth since it landed. 100,000 photos. That was officially the number NASA released yesterday at like 3 p.m. PST. Kind of wild to me. Anyway, this is a photo from yesterday. You can see so much in it. Right beneath me, you can see some rocks with what looks like water marks in it, or
Yeah.
what they originally listed.
Mhm.
Behind Levent, we have like really fine silt. This is wild looking to me. You have like two different silts, one like above the rocks that are kind of above your head, and then this other more coarse. I don't know. It just looks so much like Earth. I'm seeing resemblances of this. Blows my mind. Definitely cool. Here's another photo as it's starting its official science missions. Finally, um, and this is from like a little navigation camera. Just it's crazy. This is just a mark on another planet. It sounds
Yeah.
so simple, but never ceases to amaze me.
Yeah, we are a little bit of changing the shape of Mars, I guess, while we are there, putting the wheel prints of the rovers.
Well, there's erosion on Mars, right? So this stuff goes away.
Yes.
Not on the moon. That still blows my mind that there's still rover tracks on.
Yeah, that's great.
That's
Wow,
crazy.
great pictures. Hopefully, they will continue working and continue sending data. So I think that the data speeds are a lot greater than what it used to be. So that's why we are getting all the pictures and video pretty quickly. Because if you remember, I think last year we did some videos about early space missions back in 50s and 60s, and the satellite communication was a challenge back then, and like one entire mission was only able to send up to like 70, 80 pictures, and it took enormous amount of time to transmit those pictures to Earth, and the processing also took long time, because the computers were able to process just so many data at those days. Even
Yeah.
one of the missions, I remember the NASA engineers were not patient enough to wait for the data processing of the computer, so they fed the data to the computer. But in the meantime, by looking at the data,
Oh,
they
that's
made
true.
hand drawing because the hand drawing came faster than the computer
Yeah.
processed picture. But this is not the case anymore. So everything is almost immediate.
Yeah, that's so silly. Just imagining somebody there with colored pencils. Like it should look like this. The picture's gonna look like this, and it did. So they weren't wrong.
Yeah.
Um, this officially now, since we've been away from doing it for, I mean, 2 weeks now, essentially.
Mhm.
Perseverance has now started doing science. Official, happening. It's on its mission. It's going to Jezero Crater. It's gonna look at some pretty neat things, survey some of the oldest geological features of Jezero Crater. It's also gonna run its auto navigation. So just like Ingenuity can fly on its own, they tell it where it wanted to go, and
Yeah.
it does what's needed. Perseverance also has automatic. I can I can dodge this rock.
And also, because they are operating far away, they have built-in intelligence, artificial intelligence
Mm-hmm.
system. They sometimes, and most of the time, they make decisions on their own. Because let's say they just get stuck on a rock, you notice that sometimes, minutes, maybe hours later, and then if you control and command the rover, it takes enormous amount of time for a signal to reach there and get processed. So they built in very intelligent systems so that they make their own decisions. If the wheel got stuck somehow, they just
Mm-hmm.
get them unstuck themselves.
Because of that 14-minute delay, it's extremely difficult to control something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
especially imagine if you are flying drone. I'm not even
14 minutes is too
I'm
late.
not even good at flying a toy drone on Earth. Usually my drones are just going down and
Yeah.
crash. If there's a 14-minute delay, I would be very bad at it.
All right, we got some comments. Janet says, "Good afternoon," and good afternoon, Janet. So glad to have you guys back. Brexton, we've been missing you. Where have you been?
He wants to ride into space with the billionaires.
Well, we're gonna talk about that.
What are you going to do with the billionaires in space?
Yeah, that's a real question. We still want to know how much those seats on Jeff Bezos' plane went for, or ship went for. I'm very curious. Millions and millions. I'm chump change, really. No big deal. Anyway, Perseverance is going to go to a scenic overlook. So it's going to head over somewhere and we're going to get some. This has me really fired up. I'm so excited. I mean, as somebody who's an avid hiker and I'm always trying to find overlooks, uh, we get one from another planet. This should be great.
We feel like there, right?
Yes, definitely.
Especially if we can feel the panoramic view in the planetarium theater, we can really
That is
feel like we are
something,
on Mars.
yeah, that everyone can expect when we get to
Yes.
open the doors. We will have panoramic views of Mars from the new rover, just like we did from old rovers. We had panoramic views in there.
Yes.
So,
All right, what
pretty
we have
exciting.
next?
The next one was kind of controversial. I was thinking, do I really bring this up? I mean, is it worth it? But it's too funny to me, and also Brexton, you just brought us in, so you queued this up. We're gonna talk about going to space with billionaires. This is Virgin Galactic's VSS Imagine. This image is from Virgin Galactic's website directly. This looks like Star Wars Naboo stuff. This is incredible.
It seems like there is the business class and there is the economy.
No windows. You just get to say you went. Oh
You
goodness.
can just in the economy seat you can just feel the gravity, but you are not allowed to see outside.
I didn't go looking for pictures of inside of it, but I'm really curious. What is back there? I mean, I assume that an enormous portion of that plane is just the jet engine on the back.
Probably.
Just the rocket that's attached to it. But Is there just an area where you can just jump around like the vomit comet?
No, I don't think so. I think I mean, I'm not expert on this, but my opinion would be fuel. And also, it seems like this is just part of the like the ones we see in back in the 727s of Boeing.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is an engine over here, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's just
And
like a rocket engine
yeah,
almost.
and if there is an engine over here, so that explains it because I mean the big part of the engine is inside and the back there, and usually they put fuel in the wings, and the part of the fuel may be over here too. Uh,
Very curious. They take these to space on big jets. They get them
mhm.
really, really high in the air, and then they let this little plane do the rest of the work to get there.
Yeah, do you
And
know how many thousand feet they go in space?
nope, I don't.
I mean,
Oh, you
for
mean like how high they go? It's just on the edge of space. I think somewhere in the range of 80,000
yeah, I mean the best
feet
airplanes can fly
meters.
into low 40,000 feet. Like 41,000 feet, for example, is the ceiling considered for commercial airlines. We have Sophia that goes over 50,000 feet, but that's a
Yep.
special aircraft of NASA's special modification because it flies above the stratosphere to capture infrared light from space. And this plane must be designed exclusively for like a to go to the edge of space because a regular or normal jet engine would just stall at high altitude. So they are not able to. I mean, because as you go high above in the air gets thinner and thinner, and as the air gets thinner, the amount of air that goes through engine gets low, and at one point there is no sufficient air go
Yeah.
flow
So
through
this
the
is like
engine. So
a hybrid rocket engine
uh-huh.
on this plane.
Yeah, but I'm just surprised that there's it seems like there's only one engine
Yep, just
because you
one
don't have
engine.
any
This thing is
backup.
only designed to get up to about 70 miles,
Uh-huh.
110 kilometers or something. What it said,
Uh-huh.
68 miles technically.
Yeah.
So it
I
doesn't
mean, certainly
technically go to space.
great winglets.
It's just beautiful. Like I can't believe it's even real. Blows my mind. Anyway, what's interesting is that the FAA officially said it's okay for Virgin Galactic to send tourists to space. This is normally small news, but because Jeff Bezos just got cleared to send tourists to space, Richard Branson, the CEO of Virgin Galactic, was like, "We're gonna beat Jeff Bezos to sending tourists to space." It just cracks me up so much because I'm imagining, I'm imagining these rich people just like how much money can I blow to win a space race, a tourist space race? Here's Blue Origin spacecraft. We kind of went over this image a couple weeks ago. Uh, this is more of a classic idea to get to space, right? Just stick them on top of a giant explosion and cross your fingers. Um, I don't know. Yeah, should be interesting though.
Well, space tourism is in the radar for a long time. I have been hearing it for a long time. Even there were some people who were putting money on a side, uh, and potentially
Pre-booking these
the
flights,
space
yeah.
opens for tourism. I think we are still far away from a reasonable economy space trips, but certainly we are just probably just on the verge of possibilities.
The people who have got plenty of money, too much money, are already on it. I think Richard Branson was selling Galactic.
Uh-huh.
He has been for years. So kind of neat though. I mean, it's good for us. It means that space is going to be in the forefront. If there's investment in space, that technology gets technology gets improved. It's cheaper, safer. I think come into it.
Yeah, I mean that's the philosophy behind commercializing this space access. NASA was criticized big time when they ended the shuttle mission and handed over these missions to private sector, private contractors, because the private sector can make it more economical, um, cheaper,
Yeah.
more effective, more efficient. So that is the reason behind. So, and as we see in the past decade, really they are getting more efficient and cheaper.
Yeah, I've seen this compared to Europeans coming to America. It took a government, right, like
Mm-hmm.
Spain and Portugal, to say, yeah, we'll drop the money to send you guys there the first time, and then after that, private companies were like, okay, we know it's possible, we know we can do it, let's go,
Yes.
let's get it done.
Patricia is a good question. What other planets do they plan to go into the future? Well, depends on the manned or unmanned travels. So if you are talking about unmanned, the NASA and all other space agencies around the world are all over the place in the solar system. For example, NASA have a mission to like the active mission to Jupiter. Already, the one mission ended Cassini to Saturn. There was a New Horizons mission to Pluto. Almost all planets were explored by robots, robotic missions. And these missions actually started from all the way to from 70s, Pioneer and New Horizons. So certainly a lot of places in the solar system were explored. The moon is the only place that a manned mission was designed and implemented. The moon mission was special. We can maybe just talk about it in a full episode. Why moon mission happened and why it was a manned mission. Um, but if you look at it today, like there was always something in the plan that when are we going to send a man or woman to Mars, which I think still under consideration. But if we just think about it, yeah, that's the challenging. But other than just achieving that challenge, there is no point because unmanned missions are a lot cheaper, and we can do it a lot quicker because
Yeah,
we can just take risks. I mean, just you lose a rover, who cares? You can just send another one as soon as money is available. But if you just lose someone, that's really really tragic. So
definitely.
we always think about it and say, why are we doing this?
In
We don't want to lose anyone.
terms of the helicopters, though, too, I don't
Uh huh.
know exactly what all she was referring to, but Titan is the next one they really want to send a helicopter to.
Uh
They
huh.
were already planning on doing the Dragonfly mission, and now it's like we know the technology is possible, it's capable of doing this, and it's going to be so much easier to fly at Titan because it has an atmosphere with some density. It's
Yes.
not going to be like Mars where it's 1% the atmosphere. Those blades have to turn at 2,500 RPMs.
Yeah, and Titan was the most exciting part of not New Horizons, the
they had the
earlier one,
they had the
Voyager.
Huygens. Oh, Voyager. Oh, seeing that it had an atmosphere. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because for the first time, it takes it like going around Saturn and takes a picture, and that picture turns out showing an atmosphere around the moon. For the first time in the solar system, there was an atmosphere detected around a moon.
Yeah.
Plus, it turned out like it was a like nice blue color atmosphere, so that looked like Earth. And later pictures also showed lakes on the surface of Titan, and people started thinking about maybe there is another Earth, but that is actually a moon around Saturn. So, but it turned out with a disappointment because later investigations showed that all the lakes were actually methane lakes, like water
Not
lakes.
not good for humans.
Plus, the atmosphere that we see, that blue sky we see over Titan, was mostly methane. Methane is a poisonous gas and explosive gas too. Uh, so that for that reason, we concluded that probably that's not a good place for another life in this.
Yep. Anyway, it's neat. We'll be using more helicopters, so to answer the question thoroughly, a lot of places, right?
Uh-huh.
Anywhere we can. Um, Texas is Zuckerberg next time. Rich enough, definitely rich enough. Question is, want to go? Anyway, let's move on to the next one. I'm excited about this. Let's get rid of this and yes, and I need to move out of the way so we can stop hiding this huge story. This is most excited to talk about. A black hole was seen eating a neutron star, but when I say seen, it wasn't really seen, Levent, because um, LIGO and Virgo announced that while it did watch a black hole eat a neutron star, not once but twice in 10 days, um, there was no light at all visible. We only know this because of gravitational waves. This is crazy to me. We should introduce these. On top, we have this is LIGO station at Hanford, and then on bottom we have Europe's Virgo interferometer, and these are just gravitational wave detectors. What do you think about this, Levin?
Well, we know black holes consume other objects. It can be a star, and most of the time, actually, we see a star. Like there's a like the binary system, a black hole and a star is just orbiting around each other. Because black hole has a powerful gravity force, the black hole attracts the gas from the star, steals the gas from the star, and we see some like a funnel cloud starting from the surface of star and goes and gets thinner and thinner towards the black hole. So the black hole consumes star. So this is seen most of the time. But what if there is a neutron star around the black hole? Well, the neutron stars are like the name suggests, they are completely formed out of neutrons. What are neutrons or how they form? Well, at the end of the stars, at the end of their lifetime, stars are 3 times more massive than the sun or more, they explode. So this explosion results in a very dense object. So, well, if you think about like the building elements of stars are also atoms, and the atoms have protons, just basically protons, electrons, and neutrons. So when the matter gets compressed and squished, the building blocks or even the elements of building blocks like protons and electrons and neutrons gets together. So the neutron is a neutron. It doesn't have any electrical charge, but when you get proton and electron combined, so the proton has a positive charge and electron has a negative charge. When they combined, they nurture each other and form a neutron. So then the star core gets just a lot of neutrons. So that's how neutron stars form.
Extremely dense.
Well, extremely dense object, extremely dense stars. Well, those stars are also, if there's a black hole nearby and gets the attraction force of the black holes, and apparently this is what LIGO Observatory observed, so consumed by black holes. But black holes are very interesting. As we talked last week, they 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 affect the space around them. They bend the path around the space. They bend the space fabric, and they cause a lot of
That's what
problems.
they saw was the bending of space. There was no visible light. They actually kind of hoped that there would be some tearing whenever it went to consume the neutron star, that it would rip it up.
Yeah,
And we'd see that, but it just swallowed it. The neutron star just disappeared. It rattled the fabric of space, or the space-time fabric, and then it just swallowed that up, and it was just done. This is just crazy. These were actually detected in January of 2020, so right before we had any expectation of how our world was going to change dramatically. And as we know, a few months later, the ripples hit the United States and all of the world. And
But literally, eaten by a black hole means that neutron stars are literally um, than non-existence of our universe too.
I mean, it really to me raises tons of questions about the new mass of this black hole. So the first one that they watched actually was 9 solar masses. So it was as massive as 9 suns. The black hole was, and it swallowed up a 1.9 solar mass neutron star. Just swallowed it whole. And I'm just in my head like, is the black hole? Do we have enough research evidence that says the black hole is now 10.9 solar masses? Is it less than that? Is it exactly the same? Is it more? Like what is it? I don't know. So many questions on how that works. Uh, that hopefully we get answered in the future. But yeah, this was all recorded January 5th and then January 15th of 2020, and we didn't hear about it until the official announcement was June 25th.
Gravitational waves alone is also a mind-blowing matter object.
Yeah, for sure. Especially considering Einstein was like, "Yeah, this is gonna happen. I'm gonna discover this." And so the LIGO operation runs 2 observatories west, which guys, and it's also nation with one in the Virgo. All 3 of those observed this event, and they should be adding the Japanese Kagra, Kagra, another barometer that should be operational in 2022, which will make the observatory have larger field of view, get higher resolution, get more data, and better confirmation. We got a question, um, Rexton. Like the government might be finally saying there are UFO out there. You missed last week, Rexton. You should have been here. Talked about this.
Well, I think the government said well, in one perspective, yeah, there's a UFO out there, but we need to remember that U means unidentified flying object, not necessarily linked to extraterrestrial space vehicle or vessel. So the my understanding is they are saying, well, there are some sightings of some strange things in the sky, but only so many of them were able to explained, but others remain unexplained. Unexplained doesn't mean that there is a link to extraterrestrial vehicles. They may be, I don't know, some testing or military testing, uh, some spy missions. Can be anything.
A
I
balloon.
mean, the
It could be a balloon.
balloon too. Yes,
We
and
have an
sometimes
episode in the works on
and
this.
sometimes they don't have to be like, we don't have to go deep into thinking that either military or spy operation. There are some, like I just seen the other day in the sky, like 2 satellites are following each other, like two pinpoint of light is slowly moving in the sky strangely. It looked like what is this. um, uh, but I found out that because I have this, great software that I can just pull the sky chart very accurately and also see satellites on that. I spotted the 2 satellites, and even one of those satellites was ran by United States, another one was a country. So they were like seemed to be like following each other in the sky, and they were going in the same direction and the same speed. That was a very interesting sight. Well, if you don't know what you are looking at, whether they can be a satellite or balloon or some other thing, or maybe sometimes even airplane, you are definitely looking at a UFO. But
You don't
again,
know what it is. UFO.
and in last week we talked about whether a alien spacecraft uh, traveling to here from all the way from the other side of the galaxy or maybe different galaxy. Uh, would it be possible? We all talked about it last week.
But we're gonna do another episode. We're gonna, if you want to, everybody can feel free to send us your favorite UFO videos. We'll try to break them down. We'll choose a handful. We obviously don't have an infinite amount of time, and
Yeah.
we'll talk about what it could be, the science behind it. So we are gonna go through these for sure. Brexton says, "Will they ever use the old building at Fair Park for observatory again?" I wish. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so
Perot
either.
has abandoned it. The science place has been. I mean, city of Dallas, they're keeping it clean and maintaining it, but the Perot Museum did not take over the science place. And the planetarium down there, as far as I understand, is
Yeah, even they dismantled all the planetarium 4 or 5 years ago, and right now it is very expensive to build another planetarium in Dallas area. So UTA Planetarium remains the not only planetarium because we have quite a few planetariums in the Metroplex, but serving public, there is
really do.
UTA Planetarium, Noble Planetarium and Fort Worth Museum of Science and History, and also UNT, University of North Texas at Denton, as planetarium serving public. Are there any other planetariums serving public?
Uh, I mean,
Time to time,
yeah, time to time.
GPIST Planetarium opens door to public shows.
All the other high school.
Yeah, I mean, very occasionally they open. But we'll celebrate our 40th anniversary.
Yeah, it's here 40 years.
Yes.
Holy mo-
We'll talk about the history of planetariums at UTA because in UTA there are two planetariums. There is an old historic roundhouse planetarium where everything started in 1981.
which we are currently upgrade. I don't know if I can say that. Maybe I wasn't supposed to.
And in 2006, UTA opened a brand new planetarium in a brand new building, which is pretty large, 60 feet dome with stadium style seating, very luxury place. So we need to talk about that in one of the future episodes, maybe sometime in July.
Yeah, we have some news horizon for. Yeah, we have lots of announcements to bring up, memberships, so on and so forth. I do think it's important, Levent, to mention. It wasn't in my news stuff, but it is important that it is National Asteroid Day. Did you?
Is it tomorrow?
It's today.
July? Jose?
Yes, June 30th.
Okay.
Celebrate NASA's asteroid approach. Yes.
Celebrate with an asteroid.
Their missions: Osiris Rex, Psyche, DART, I think is what it's called. They call it. Tons of them. You have a couple episodes and some news that we're just on the verge of telling everyone. Well, it's living. Yeah.
Blame me.
All right. Anything else, Levin?
No, I think we are just ran out of time.
Yeah, well, so glad to have you back, Brexton. Thank you so much, Patricia. We saw Lamia in the comments, Janet in the comments. Thank you guys for showing up. We're really grateful to you. So glad that you're helping us grow and staying with us.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can just encourage more people to join us.
And in the meantime, if there is anything that would like to discuss, either show up next week and ask your question on the live or submit your question ahead of time.
Yeah.
Either way.
Also, if you guys are, you have recommendations and stuff we want to talk about. Yeah, more questions. Hey, you guys should bring up these.
All right.
All right.
Well, see you everyone next week.
Yeah. Right.